On the cutting mat with toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to On the Cutting Mat with toy-polloi, an exclusive video series I film for my Patreons and YouTube channel members. Each month I film a new restoration or toy repair project that you won't see anywhere else, and today you are viewing one of those for free. This video has been chosen by you, the YouTube audience. If you'd like to support me on Patreon and get access to this exclusive content, then follow the link in the description. As I say, each month I upload a new video. You have exclusive behind the scenes images, access to exclusive files, and early access to all of my restoration projects. So take a look at the links below, but for now let's get on with the main part of this video.
On the cutting mat with toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of On the Cutting Mat with toy-polloi, an exclusive series I film for my Patreons and YouTube channel members. And today we're going to be dealing with Skeletor. I've got these two Skeletors here that both need a little bit of work. This guy on the left is not too bad, he just needs a new leg band fitting, so that's a fairly simple job. But this one on the right is one that I just sort of pieced together out of parts of Skeletors. I have this little box where I put any sort of broken bits of Skeletor that I come across, and every once in a while I've got enough pieces in here that I can build a new one. And I think I've sort of pretty much got enough that I can put a new Skeletor together. But this body has a few issues. In fact, the pelvis has come apart. You can see that it's actually broken apart. And there's a few bits that are missing that they've chipped off. I'm not sure you can sort of see them particularly clearly here, but you can see there's a piece there that's missing. We've got a piece at the bottom that's missing. And I want to try a new technique to see whether I can actually sort of rebuild those using some shavings from styrene sheets. It's not something I've tried before, but I've got quite a few pelvises like this that are in a sort of a bit of a sorry state, and if it works on this, then I think I can fix up some other figures. So that's what we're going to try today, see if we can rebuild that. It's going to be the same process that I showed when fixing up the battle bones a while back on toy-polloi. For that I got a load of shavings of styrene and then mixed them up with plastic weld to make a sort of putty that I could then sort of paste into the area, and I'm hoping that I can do the same here. So I've got some black styrene, I just need to make some shavings out of it, and we'll try building this up and see what we can do to sort of get this working. Hopefully we'll be able to make something that actually looks half decent, and as this is black it should all be hidden anyway, but it's going to be a new process that I want to try, so let's just give it a go. Right, so for the shavings, as I say, it's the same technique that I used on the battle bones. I was actually smoothing the edges of some styrene sheet. I just used my metal ruler to scrape along the edge, and you end up with these little bits of plastic which you can then melt with the plastic weld and make a sort of putty. So I need a lot more of that. So this is just an offcut of some 2mm styrene sheet. I will use my ruler to scratch along the edge until I've got a reasonable selection of these, and then we can start mixing up a putty that I'm hoping will work. So yeah, let's just get a load of scrapings and see what happens. I've now got quite a selection, and I think that will probably be enough. Before we actually get to mixing that sort of putty up, I do need to glue this back together, or plastic weld it back together. You can see it's completely come apart, so I'm just going to put plastic weld around the sort of the key points of it, just so that this is firmly held together, and then I can mix up the sort of putty and start pasting it in. Previously I mixed it up using a brush, and that didn't work particularly well, so this time I'm going to use a screwdriver. I'm hoping I can sort of paste it in and just build it up enough. It might take a few sort of goes of building it up because some of these breaks are a little bit awkward, but I think we should be able to sort of build it up and shape it, because it will stay quite gungy, and then I can sculpt it just with the end of this and let it set, and then do a bit of sort of fine tuning with sanding and filing. So yeah, this is a real sort of test for me. I've never tried this before, but I believe it will work. So let's plastic weld this together, then we'll mix up some gunge and see what happens. that's not working too bad. I thought I might have made it a bit too sort of liquidy by putting too much plastic weld in, but that's actually helped because it means it's sort of really pulled into the joins, and I managed to fill that gap pretty well. So I'm actually going to let that dry now for, I'm going to reckon, probably an hour, because I put so much plastic weld into it, and then I might try and build it up a little bit more, just to remix this and sort of add an extra few layers to it. But the overall effect of that is not bad at all. It's blended in pretty well. I'm very happy. For a first go, that's worked much better than I thought it would. It's now a day later, as it took absolutely ages for this stuff to fully set, but I'm really happy with the results. You can see there was no longer a piece missing there. About an hour after I put the sort of mixture on, I got a screwdriver and just sort of gently pushed in to add a few little sort of folds and sort of the detail that the original fur had, and that seems to have hidden it pretty well. The bit at the bottom I've not done a huge amount to, because it's all going to be hidden, but you can see that has really made a very nice sort of replacement part. It does take an awful long time to set though, I guess because you're essentially mixing a lot of the plastic weld into the styrene and making it a very soggy mess, so you've got to let all of that evaporate and set. But the end results are really good. So you can see there's a little bit of white blooming. Sometimes that happens, certainly with the black styrene sheet. It doesn't set fully black, so I'm just going to do a very lazy repair on this. I've got a black marker pen here. I'm just going to quickly just sort of draw over the top of that. I probably could paint it, but as this is just a sort of test fix, a little bit of a black marker pen there just sort of hides the fact that there's a little bit of blooming going on. It's a very lazy fix. I wouldn't recommend doing that on sort of on a decent figure. This is just a sort of a test figure. But you can see by the time I put that leg in, that's going to look really nice. It's a pretty sort of convincing fix. So that's the next job, is I've got to replace the legs. I've already started the process because I've done this so many times and I've shown you so many times what to do. I've got some replacement He-Mans here. I've just got to thread these through, put the legs back on, and that figure should start to actually look like Skeletor again. I've also started doing the same on the other Skeletor here. I've already prepped his legs, so let's get all of these legs attached and see what this figure looks like. And there we go, the legs are back on, and I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. That repair is actually very hard to spot, certainly on this, because it's all black plastic. It's easily hidden. I think if you were repairing some of the pelvises on the other He-Man figures, you'd have to paint it, but you could certainly hide the join pretty well. That's now a nice solid pelvis, and this figure is all working again. All we've got to do is replace his head and put some arms on him. So I found a pretty reasonable Skeletor head there. Let's just pop that on. It should just twist in place, which it does, and then I've got a pair of arms which I think will fit on pretty well as well, like so. Yep, and there we go. We have a nice Skeletor built from my scraps pot here. I still need to find some armour for him, but I've got so many Skeletors like this without the armour. He's just going to go in with the rest of my collection here. But as you can see, I've now got two pretty nice looking Skeletors, and I've learnt a new way of fixing a toy. I'm very happy with the repair on that, so that's been an interesting process to learn. Yeah, and I'm certainly going to be able to use that again. So there we go, two Skeletors for the army. I do need to say a massive thanks to all of you who support me here on toy-polloi. It does make a massive difference to what I'm able to do, and hopefully you are enjoying these on the cutting mat videos. As I say, I really enjoy making them. They're just nice little projects, and it gives you a chance to see what I do sort of behind the scenes. So thanks for your ongoing support, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi.